Join us for a dynamic episode featuring Lalo Alcaraz, the 2022 Herblock Prize winner for editorial cartooning. As a creator of the iconic comic strip La Cucaracha, Lalo discusses his editorial journey, artistic achievements, and cultural contributions. With 6 Southern California Press Awards, Lalo's editorial cartoons have left an indelible mark. From the LA Weekly to Andrews McNeil syndication, his work resonates nationally. As an illustrator and Chicano artist, Lalo's work spans museums, galleries, and publications globally. His graphic novels, including the New York Times bestseller, A Most Imperfect Union, showcases his storytelling prowess. Lalo's influence extends to film and television, contributing to projects at Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney, Fox, and Xbox. Notably, he was a cultural consultant on the Oscar-winning animated film Coco. Tune in for a compelling discussion on editorial cartooning, cultural representation, and the impact of visual storytelling with Lalo Alcaraz.
Welcome to the Latino Business Report. This podcast covers business, people, and issues of the day from a Latino perspective. The Latino Business Report is brought to you by TAMAC, the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce. TAMAC is the leading Hispanic business organization in Texas since 1975. Now for your host, J.R. Gonzalez.
Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Latino Business Report. Today, I'm so excited. I got a person that I've been trying to track down and get on the podcast for a while now. I'm a big fan, and his name is Lalo Alcaraz. You may not recognize the name, but Lalo is a syndicated cartoonist of the comic strip La Cucaracha. Lalo, how are you doing today, sir?
I am good. How are you, JR?
Well, now that I got you on the podcast, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking time to actually be on the podcast. I know you're busy. You have these daily cartoons that you're doing. You have so many things going on, and that's what I want to talk about. And for the listeners that this is audio only, so the listeners can't see. It's a little interesting. As Lalo and I are actually talking, he's not really paying attention. He's actually drawing at the same time. So it's like, man. So Lalo,
I am paying attention.
You are paying it. That's the way you pay attention. You draw.
That's why I'm so brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you what I'm drawing, and the audience will have to imagine. But I am doing an illustration for a city council member who wants to kind of use this illustration to prove how much she loves the firefighters. She's sitting in a fire truck, and I'm drawing the beach and the sand, and it's due tonight, so I got to draw while we talk, bro.
Hey, that's okay, man. We got to make a living. And I am envious, Lalo, to be able to actually make a living or turn your talent into a business of drawing. I mean, that's sweet. So how long have you been drawing?
Look, I was always say I was drawing in the womb, and it was very painful for my mom. And then when I came out with the pencils, then I learned that it runs in my family. So my cousins in Mexico are on my mom's side, and my grandfather too. I just learned. So my cousins in Mexico became CPAs, but they were also singers and painters and just amazing, well-rounded people, unlike myself. And they had to go to university in Mexico City because they're from Sinaloa, and there was no El Chapo University at the time there, and so they had to go out there. And actually, I'm writing a book about my childhood visits to Mexico City.
Really?
I'm doing a graphic novel about that. But anyway, I could talk about that later. But the point is that it runs in my family. I just learned recently that my grandfather on my mom's side used to draw cartoons of people back on the rancho in Mazatlan, and so that was another interesting thing to learn about my family. So
you definitely have that artist gene running through your family. Then
sometimes you got the gene, sometimes you just take the class and learn how to draw.
So some of your relatives use their pencil to sharpen them up to do taxes. You're doing yours to make cartoons. Lalo, for those listeners who may not be familiar with your comic strip, can you kind of explain the concept behind La Cucaracha and kind of what it does and what you do with the strip?
Sure. My role models, and I'm taking I document everything, so I'm taking a photo of us right now, and on the screen. I grew up reading comics from Tijuana. I grew up on the border in San Diego and Tijuana, and when my mom would take me down there, go get every quincena, go get some groceries. We go to the movies, go see lucha libre matinees all day, and also I get to read comics, and I would read, Spanish is my first language, so I would read Disney comics, a lot of. I would read a lot of Donald Duck comics for some reason, translated into Spanish, and then I just started picking up a love for comics. And then as I grew older, I would see different cartoons that I like, and one that was very foundational for me was called Gordo, and it was a comic. It was the first Latino or Mexican or anything like that nationally syndicated comic strip in the U.S., and it was drawn by a Chicano from Tucson named Gus Arriola, who ended up going to high school here in L.A. and ended up working in animation for Disney, Warner Brothers, you name it. And I think the gene is strong in our people.
It was called Gordo?
It was called Gordo, and he was Gus Arriola, and it's a beautifully drawn strip about a Mexican taxi driver. That's how it started out in the 40s.
Wow!
And Gus went to World War II, came back, restarted the strip, went to L.A., Hollywood, and basically Burbank, and worked for animation because he was such a great artist. But his strip ran for like 40 years. And to the point where I got to see it when I was a kid in the 80s, and I was blown away by its beauty and the writing, and it was just an amazing, to see that, literally your role model.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you're a young Latino, and you love to draw, and you see a nationally syndicated strip like this, so I can assume not only a role model, but it kind of gave you some encouragement to pursue the career of being a cartoonist.
Oh, for sure. Like I saw, I could do that. I think I can't draw it as beautifully as Gus could.
Yeah.
But, he had his thing, and I have my thing, and my thing was politics, and to create a strip. That showed how politics play out in people's lives and how news issues play out in people's lives. And that's how La Cucaracha works. It's a strip about one of the best times of my life when I was around 25, out of school, no bills, and no job to speak of. And it was a pretty fun, free time. I got to be an artist. And it's about a small group of friends like that just reacts, and then I blew it up to have cast of thousands, lots of different characters experience different issues, aspects of our lives as Latinos, as Mexican Americans, Chicanos.
Now, Lalo, if you don't mind me asking, you're about how old?
I am 59.9 years old.
59.9, and the reason I ask, I'm just trying to get an idea of some of the experiences you've had. So at 59, Vietnam War was already over, some other stuff, but you've seen a lot of changes in your life, and that's what I really appreciate about some of your cartoons. You definitely are, I guess, political satire. I mean, you're kind of bold. I mean, I really, you're out there, you're making a statement. It's kind of some of it's tongue in cheek, some of it makes you think, and that's one of the things I also like about your cartoon strips is some of the things that you do, I got to look at twice, and I just have to think about it for a second. I go, now I get it. So thank you for that. Thank you for making me think. People say I don't do that often enough, but your strips have really helped it. So once again, La Cucaracha. If somebody has never seen the strip, is there main character in there, or what's it about, or is it just a?
Yeah, there's several. The main kind of three characters are the Cucaracha, whose name is Cucaracha, and he's an anthropomorphic cockroach, human. He's a Chicano poet. He's kind of a homie. He doesn't really have a job. He's kind of an artist. And then is
it your alter ego, Lalo?
These are all my alter egos. Yes.
Okay.
And then the second character is Eddie. That's his kind of flip side, and he's kind of a dopey guy that just kind of likes to watch the game, have a beer, and struggles to work for a living, but he works at a crumbling newspaper. And then there's Vero, Eddie's girlfriend, who is the common sense, take no guff, Chicana. She's based on my wife, who's a public school teacher. So Vero's a school teacher, and then there's those are the main characters. Then there's Neto, Eddie's little brother, and then a ton of people, man, and lots of characters, including a small businessman who's a giant luchador titan who owns a bar, and but the most popular character of all of them is Taco Cart Guy, and he's like he's just a taquero, kind of a guru, gives advice about life, and
is he selling his tacos?
Yeah, as he sells you, all kinds of different tacos and stuff. Okay,
well that makes sense, and it just blows me away that you've been syndicated for over 20 years. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. So congratulations on that. But
thank you.
Have you ever gotten into your cartoons and actually have put them on film in some sort of animated version?
Well, I've only been trying to pitch La Cucaracha as an animated show for about 20 years. And
so you just started, okay.
So, and I, have, recently I've joined forces with a producer from the Jim Henson Company, the Muppets. And we went, before the strikes happened, we went and pitched La Cucaracha all over the place. We got rejected all over the place. But we have the next phase of the plan is we're going to do a short episode, 2 to 5 minute short animated La Cucaracha mini episode to kind of mini pilot to show around. And just to, show the executives like this can be a thing.
With what it can do. Now I know you've worked on some other things. You've worked with Pixar, you've worked with Disney, and if I recall, weren't you a cultural consultant on the animated version of Coco?
Yes. Well, there's only one version of Coco, and it's the animated version.
Yeah, so true.
Technically, you're
well.
correct.
There's a book, but it didn't have any pictures, so I didn't read. I stopped reading.
I think you saw a packet of cocoa at the store.
That might have been, yeah.
But no.
So thank you for correcting me and calling me out on my own show, Lalo. Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy.
That's what I do.
I could have edited that out, and nobody would have been the wiser. But no, there's Lalo. Let's just call JR out.
It's better this way. Trust me. I was a cultural consultant on Coco. It was a great time. How
did you get that gig? I mean, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it was wild. I guess I got it by being a complainer, right? Like we might all be familiar with the story that the Walt Disney Company tried to trademark the term Dia de los Muertos. Mm-hmm. Not the wisest thing the Disney Company has ever done. And they were working on this film about Day of the Dead, which was at the time called Dia de los Muertos. So they, when you are going to merchandise a movie, you're going to make T-shirts with the name of the movie on it, or Happy Meals or whatever. You got to have the name of your movie on that material. You got to register a trademark.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
And so they did. And they found out that they made a big mistake by trying to trademark another country's holiday.
Holiday, right.
You're right. And it did not fly with Raza. And so what happened was there was a professor, I think maybe in Denver, that started a petition that exploded over the course of this all played out about over 4 days in 1 week. As the news was posted about this thing, which was a super fan that follows trademark applications, saw that Disney had applied for this trademark, and so they posted about it, not knowing they were going to cause a major headache for Disney. Posted about it. Everybody found out. Petition was made. I drew a cartoon called Muerto Mouse about the whole thing and how Disney was trying to trademark our culture. And then, which Disney owned Pixar at the time. Disney now owns everything. But they, by Thursday night, Disney withdrew the trademark application and went home with the tail between their legs. So, and we were all shocked that we actually won a battle,
against Disney.
Yeah. And so, flash forward to a year later, and I get a call from a friend who is an acquaintance who was a consultant for Disney on TV shows, on animated shows. And her name is Marcela Davison Aviles from Tucson. Again, Tucson's a running theme here. And she said, hey, the executive producer of Coco wants to talk to you about joining the team as a cultural consultant. And, I had been harassing Disney for a year for a job or, for payoff or anything. Marcella thought it would be a good idea because they had assembled, they were planning to assemble this trio of consultants, as myself, Marcella, and this Chicano playwright, Octavio Solis from the Bay Area, who I had never met, but we knew all the same people, and so together we were like the high council of advising for this film, of consulting, and so I made them take me out for martinis and steaks at Morton's Steakhouse, and then I interviewed the consultant, but mainly the producer, and I said, look, are you going to have brown facing on this movie? Like Brad Pitt's not going to roll in and say, I'm a Calavera, and they said, no, there absolutely no brown facing. And,
no brown facing in animation. Okay, got it.
Yeah, or at least on this project. And then I said, are you going to listen to what we say? And they said, well, absolutely. I go, I'm not trying to sign on as a rubber stamp here. I am here to provide a service to make sure that this movie is good. So at least you have to listen to me. You don't have to implement everything I said. They said, absolutely, we will listen. I said, well, all right, let's try it. And of course I got a lot of crap from people in the community, just a few. And those tontitos are always with us.
They're always gonna be somebody. So
Yeah.
you kind of drove a hard bargain as you're eating that $79 steak with your with your little sides and a cocktail or two. But good for you. Good for you. So I saw the movie, I enjoyed it, and I really liked the way it was done. But I'd never stopped to think that there's actual cultural consultants on the film, but it makes sense, and I'm glad it's there because it helps avoid all those incorrect little things, or it just makes the film better. I mean, especially for Latino community, goes, yes, That is us. That is it.
Yeah.
And I found go ahead.
Yeah, it's like on a bottom line thing. I mean, it's protecting your investment. Where are you going to spend $250 million and then do something stupid that people will walk out on? They Pixar doesn't do that. They make quality films and they do their research, and they did it on this, and then they say we can't do it alone. We need people from the community, and then we brought in other people from the community. We had our own council of elders, we called them. We brought people from all over.
You brought in your own advisory board.
Yeah, exactly. And so they were cool about that. They treated everybody respectfully, and we ended up with a very good project at the end, a very good product.
Okay. Now, Lalo, I know you have some other projects in the hopper right now. Would you mind, or can you talk about that yet? Some of the other projects that you have going?
Sure. I started during the pandemic. A friend of mine, Rick Torres, and I started a production company, and it's called Ocho Villa Productions. And we
Ocho Villa.
Yeah. And,
okay.
And so we wanted to make Latino focused films that would be successful everywhere. We've been developing stuff, and we've been talking about doing it forever. And then finally, we started collecting some script ideas and buying some rights to articles, and trying to seduce people to give us rights for things for very interesting. A lot of them were historically oriented films. And then we came upon this a kids film. I can't really talk about the concept, but it's
okay.
It's a kids adventure film, and it wasn't initially. It was about Pancho Villa. We switched it up to make it a family film and an adventure comedy, and then basically we hired a writer that I work with on a TV show called The Casa Grandes on Nickelodeon, which we could talk about that too, because that's interesting. And then hired her to rewrite that script that we had, and I'm currently working on punching up the script, and we're going to be hopefully come out of the gate next year and see if we could sell it, get it made, something. Because we need more Latino focused projects. There's that yearly report. You see that post.
Oh yeah, I mean,
every year.
Latinos go to the. I mean, we're the ones who go to the movies more. I mean, on opening weekends, we're at the movies. We spend our money at the movies. We spend it, but yet you don't see any Latinos on the big screen. Very few. Very few.
The frustrating thing is that, because we're kind of family oriented.
And didn't you recently do a strip or something about Latinos being invisible on the screen?
Yeah, I'll tell you I'll tell you the kind of joke behind that one was cartoonists do blackout strips, like, the power went out, and then they draw a black square and they just have the writing, right?
Right.
That's a trick we do when we're really behind on stuff, right? So I was like, I just came up with another one, and I'll combine it with Latinos being invisible in Hollywood, and I don't have to draw anything except the dialogue and
the dialogue. I saw that. It made me look twice, saying, "Okay, this is clever."
And so, what the reason I was extra behind on work, because I'm always behind on work, but it was my assistant, Joaquin Junco Jr., and I have not made an announcement on this, but he had to quit helping me draw the strip, which I'd employed him for 5 years, so that to draw and put together the strips, so I could write them. And so that I could do all of my other millions of projects I'm trying to do, shows and et cetera. And I think I was working at Nickelodeon at the time when I first hired him, and I had a lot of money. But the guy had to go and reproduce, so he has a baby and he's got more responsibilities.
Nah,
So yeah, I know, right?
that'll slow you down.
Family schmamily. But anyway, so he left me the strip, and so I was like, I gotta blast something out real quick, man. This is like, I am so behind, and I came up with that idea. But that concept is always, it's there every year. Not just the fact that we over-index in spending and entertainment because we're such loyal consumers, right? But the fact that in films, in starring roles, this applies to book publishing too. We are stuck at about 6% of characters. It's been from 4% to about maybe at the most 8% of characters in movies, film, TV shows. But around 6% is the general average, and it doesn't change from year to year.
I know.
Do you remember the decade of the Latino? You know, we had like 5 of them, right?
Right. We'll probably have a few more.
And every year they promise, oh, this is it. This is the breakout year. And then it's the same old thing, same old story. Hollywood won't put us in our own, stories.
And it's very discouraging. Or when they bring in, and I'm not saying he didn't do a great job, but when you bring in Lou Diamond Phillips to, for La Bamba, and he's Filipino and he's not even Mexicano, and they start switching things off. But at least it's not like the movies in the 50s and some of the 60s where they got all kinds of different people to portray, Latinos.
Oh, yeah.
But no, on this Latino Business Report,
I'm sorry. I heard that Brad Pitt is going to play Richie Valens next. Yeah. So,
okay.
Anyway.
I would not doubt it. But I had a great podcast earlier this year with Luis Guzman, and that guy is just hilarious.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. There's not enough. I mean, we represent 20% of the country. Our population continues to grow. I mean, we're a viable political, economic force. I mean, if you were to get all the Latinos in the continental U.S. and if we were to have our own country, we'd be the 5th largest GDP in the world. And
we'd have the best food on the planet.
Right. So it just baffles me to see why Hollywood is not even telling our stories more, but putting us, putting our own people on the screen, because it's going to do nothing but attract, more business. But even though it was beautifully done, but Coco, that thing just blew the doors off of everybody. That was great.
That's right. It made $850 million worldwide, and it cost reportedly about, like I said, $250 million, 230 to 50 million, and I didn't get into the arts to do math, but that sounds like a profitable movie.
That's one of your other relatives, those CPAs.
Yeah, those guys.
But what I also found interesting about Coco is that it was also educational for non-Hispanics.
Yeah.
To realize, now I get what this whole thing is about. And then recently, A Million Miles Away, the movie about the astronaut. There again, all these are blockbusters that just the powers that be, for some reason, just keep ignoring, the talent that we have in our community and putting our stories on the screen the way they need to be depicted, where we are our own heroes and not some white guy coming in on a horse saving the world for all of us poor Latinos who can't, figure it out on our own. But that's another podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, yesterday Norman Lear died, and there was a guy who he died at 101 years old, famous TV producer, and gave us some of the greatest shows of the 70s, and a big advocate for Latinos, and created the Imagen Awards, an event I was at on Sunday. Because we were nominated, my show that I worked on.
I saw that on Facebook. Congrats on that.
The Casa Grandes, we were nominated for an Imagen Award, and that thing was started by Norman Lear.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a big big advocate for us getting, and African Americans being treated with equity in the industry.
Talking about awards, I mean, I saw something. Didn't you win a nice little award last year?
I did.
The Herblock, what was it?
Yes, the Herblock Award is, because the Pulitzers are messing up, but we could talk about that too. But the Herblock Award is named after Herb Block, a longtime cartoonist for the Washington Post, and it's all about promoting editorial cartooning as a profession. And I won the award, got $25,000 or $20,000, and a nice silver trophy. But
a real silver trophy, right?
Real one, not a chafa, no, a real one, man. And
good little and a good little bit of cash there. I mean, that was, what do you say, 20,000, 25,000?
20,000, and
American?
Not pesos, not pesos.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
And so the award, the ceremony was held at the Library of Congress, and I invited Sonia Sotomayor to come, and
nice.
Senator Alex Padilla came, our senator here in California, and it was great. And I also, in recent years, have won. It was a finalist, twice finalist for the Pulitzers, but they recently canceled the editorial. They changed the editorial cartoon category to be something like visual reporting or something, and so it's kind of killing.
Just right before you win it, they changed the rules. There you go.
Why do they always do that? That always seems to happen to me.
Well, I noticed also that, especially during the COVID, you were very active with that pencil on encouraging, vaccines, or at least fighting the anti-vaccine element out there. What caused you to do that?
Well, I met a friend, Dr. Gilbert Lopez, who's a PhD at Harvard, and he is from the Central Valley of California, where all farm workers, many farm workers live and work. And he had told me, I want to do something with art and medicine. And eventually, a few years later, and the pandemic hit, and he said, well, now's our opportunity. I want to write a grant to do animation that reaches farm worker communities in the Central Valley. And I said, I'm down. And so out of that came my first directing credits for animation in these short PSAs. We did several for COVID awareness and anti-misinformation fighting and the misinformation, and it was really great to be able to get that message out in a fun way that promotes critical thinking.
There you go.
But also public health, and I've been doing more stuff like that ever since.
And for those of you in the audience that are still kind of wondering, yes, Lalo continues to draw as we're talking. He's been drawing the whole time to meet that deadline. Lalo, one other thing I do want to bring up, a couple other things, but one, if nobody, newspapers are tough. A lot of people don't read them. Can they find your cartoons online?
Oh yeah, you can. You can always go to the LA Times if you want to pick up a paper, go to San Diego Union Tribune, and various other smaller papers throughout the Southwest mainly. But I used to be in a ton of papers all over the country, but papers pulled back on comics pages and the size of papers, and many papers just went away. But if you go to gocomics.com/La Cucaracha or /Lalo Alcaraz, you can find you can get my strip daily sent to your inbox for free.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you could join Go Comics and pay, I mean, something dumb like $9 a year or something, and get other benefits. You could see all my cartoons going all the way back 21 years.
Wow.
And so do that. I also have a website called pocho.com, and you can go there and see my cartoons, or you can go to laloalcaraz.com and read more about me if you really want to write me a hateful letter and use hurtful facts.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do for the listeners who may have not caught all that. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the podcast notes, and we'll do a link on the podcast notes so you can go back and look, and just go ahead and click and go to Lalo's cartoons. Now, Lalo, one thing I'm excited about, and I saw it. You do an annual calendar.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that calendar before we wrap up, and how I definitely want one. I know that I've already talked to some of my friends, and before we got on the show, and they said they want one. So tell us about the calendar, what it's like, and how can we get one?
So when I was at Berkeley, I studied architecture. I got a master's in architecture at UC Berkeley, and there was a guy in my program from the South, and this guy, I don't even remember his name right now, but he used to work in an architect's shop, an architect's office, in the print department, right? The print shop inside the firm, where you make all the blueprints and all that.
Right.
Every year around Christmas, he would hijack the machines and make his own calendar with public domain art, and then make up his own dates, like his birthday, his mom's birthday, and all this stuff. And then he would make a bunch and give them out for Christmas gifts, right? And I looked at, and he gave us one, or he had one year around Christmas time, and I was like, I'm going to steal that idea. That's such a good idea. Make my own calendar with dates only important to me. And that was, I think, around 1990, maybe 98 or 7, I made the first one. So I've been doing that for about 25 or so years. And it's been improving ever since. The first ones were black and white Xerox copies that I had to rip off from somewhere. And then, and now it's a glossy, beautiful calendar. It is a, I have I have the cover. I have some of the images right here. These are just the printouts. But this is last year's calendar. It's nice and glossy, and features.
Oh, so it's a good sized calendar. I mean, it's what are the dimensions? Can you tell? I mean, it looks like
it's like 11 by 17, opened up all the way.
Okay.
It's no tortilleria calendar, all right, but it's pretty good.
And it's not a calendar with the Virgin Mary on it or something.
No. But if you want, I'll put one on there. But so it's it's basically my best of cartoons, and then some kind of timely ones, and then some some evergreen cartoons and jokes about tamales, and then the dates are important dates to me. Anniversaries and birthdays that I have to remember, so I don't get kicked out of the house.
There you go.
And then also important historical facts, like November of 17th of 2023 was the day that the anti-immigrant Proposition 187 in California was declared unconstitutional.
There you go.
And then we have the premiere of Coco, November 22nd. In 2017, and Edward James Olmos' birthday, of course, which is a national holiday, right? So
should be.
This year's calendar has an old illustration I did, the calendar of Latino pop culture, which of course has Eddie in the middle, and it's kind of an Aztec calendar takeoff. And I'm going to be making this as a poster later, but this is a tease for people. So if you go to laloalcaraz.com, that's laloalcaraz.com, and you can pay right there and get your own 2024 cartoon calendar. And I am about to start mailing them out because I'm getting them tonight. So
congrats. Well, okay, yeah. So not only are you drawing the calendar, but you have to do your own shipping? Lalo, you don't have people for that?
I do have now. I have one assistant that's going to help me ship, and she is probably going to be sad this week because I'm going to try to work her to death. But that'll free me up to autograph them. I autograph them every year. So,
great! So every calendar comes with your autograph on it.
Yeah, I can't personalize. I can't put like "Tuchata, I love you."
Okay.
But I will sign it.
Cucaracha, I love you. You're the only one. Okay, I get it.
You're the only one.
You're the only one. And it's a rubber stamp that you use.
Exactly. So,
okay.
But I appreciate you bringing that up.
No, in fact, we'll put that on the podcast notes as well. I mean, I definitely, I've been enjoying your strip. I've been enjoying your cartoons that I come across, and thank you for sharing with us where we can actually see your complete body of work. And you do this as a business. I mean, this is a full-time gig, and your whole production studio. Congratulations and good luck on that. And I just keep up the fight. And as you said, you've only been trying to push some of these concepts for 20 years. But okay, just keep at it, amigo. Just keep at it. We'll get there.
What else is there to do?
Well, what else is there to do? And from my perspective, I really want to say thank you because individuals like you are promoting the culture, our community, and keeping up the fight. I mean, if you back off, that's just one less warrior out there for the cause. So just keep doing it. And you're talented, you're creative, you come up with some great ideas. You definitely make some good political points. You kind of stick it in their face sometimes when it needs to be stuck in their face. So thank you for doing that. So
thank you,
Lalo. You strike me as a person that says, "No, but I don't care if you carry my strip or not. This is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say, like it or don't like it. But this is what I'm going to do." So
I try.
yeah.
I do like to eat, though.
Yes, you still like the paycheck and the sponsorship. And as this is the Latino Business Report, folks, this is a business for Lalo. I mean, this is his business, and I am jealous. I am the respect and admiration I have for somebody who's gotten a simple talent, well, not a simple talent, a talent like yours, and have turned it into not only a business for yourself, but also an industry, part of an industry. And Lalo, no time soon, I hope, but it's already happening. I mean, your work is iconic. I mean, it is now a part of the tapestry of the American and especially Latino culture out there in this country. So thank you for doing that, sir.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I've been approached by the Smithsonian, and I'm going to have my papers at the Archive of American Artists. And that's the first time I enjoyed being asked for my papers. So,
wow! And you were asked for your papers not by a border patrol agent or at a checkpoint.
No, sir. Finally,
we need to see your papers, boy. So the Smithsonian has been asking. Is that in conjunction with the new Latino Smithsonian that they're going to be building, or is it for the American history?
It is no. It's neither. It's the Archive of American Artists, and that's where it's not artwork. It's your papers, your things that brought you inspiration. Kind of record of your work. That kind of stuff.
Got it. So they'll probably want to have a copy of this podcast in the Smithsonian as well, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, can you have an example of a time you made fun of the podcast host? All right, yes. I got
Lalo, thank you very much. And folks, Lalo is still drawing. I mean, I've had like zero eye contact with him, and that's fine. I'm just appreciative that he
barely got this far. I'm like
there. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, for the audience, Lalo, we can see each other, but we're recording audio only. So he just held up his drawing for me.
Here's the editorial cartoon I just did, which was my.
I saw that.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
there you go. That's a better way.
That's some good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen out there, you too can not only see but get a copy of Lalo's stuff, especially on that calendar. We're going to do that. Lalo, what's that calendar going to retail for?
It is $22.95 $5, and I've kept the price the same as last year. I didn't try to, break the bank of people because I know there's a lot of inflation, and it comes, and then you got to pay for the priority mail shipping, but you do get it fast. Our U.S. Postal Service is the best on the planet, I think, and then you pay the taxes because I got to pay taxes.
Got to pay taxes. So we're talking $22.95.
Yes.
Okay. And that is it's a 12-month calendar?
It's a 12-month, and it's got guaranteed 365 days on it. So,
folks, for less than the price of one taco a day, you can get a calendar. Let's get some background music for the price. For less than the price of one taco, you can have Lalo's calendar on your wall, bringing you joy and happiness 365 days out of the year.
That's
right. Lalo, I'm definitely going to get one of those calendars. Thank you very much. And before we go, is there anything you'd like to share or leave with our audience? Another project, a thought?
The last couple times I've spoken about the plight of artists, and it's like I appreciate the commercial for the calendar. Support living artists. The dead ones don't need your help right now.
They don't need your money.
Yeah, and also, when you hire an artist, it's a cliche, but it's like you are paying for all the years of experience, and that goes for any expert, right? Like
Sure.
You're paying for all the training, all those nights, late nights. That's what you're paying for, and you get a good product at the end. And also on a cultural kind of a, we're in a very sensitive era, but I just want to ask audiences and people, give comedians, give us a little break. We're just trying to crack jokes, and we're also evolving.
Don't be so sensitive, man. Don't be so sensitive.
Just give us a little leeway, and know that we're not. It's your intent. It's not. Like I'm not trying to harm anybody. We're just trying to crack jokes, look at things in a new light, and just.
Yeah, and it gives us a different way of looking at ourselves. Also, it's kind of like don't be so serious about it. But you make an excellent point, Lalo. As an expert, as a professional in the industry, it deserves recognition, and it shouldn't be for free. People need to pay for that expertise.
Yes,
now, obviously. Go ahead.
And like El Pachuco said in Zoot Suit, right? Edward James Olmos, don't take the play so pinchy seriously, right?
Right. and to your point about people should be paid for their talents. Obviously, this podcast is out there for free. So that kind of connotes I have no talent, but that's okay. We'll keep trying. Lalo, amigo, gracias. Thank you once again for taking time.
Thank you, JR, and un saludo to all the people out there listening, and especially our hardcore fans in Bangladesh.
There you go, Bangladesh.
Woo!
Bangladesh, Lalo, I can't believe it. Thank you for remembering. I just looked at my analytics today, and they popped up again. I don't know who it is in Bangladesh. If you're listening to this podcast, send me an email through our website, latinobusinessreport.com. I want to know who you are and why consistently every week you're listening. And if you contact me, I will send you a Latino Business Report shirt, cap. Lalo will draw something for you. I don't know, but my listeners in Bangladesh, I love you. God bless you. And of course, the listeners every place else in the U.S. And we get them from some strange places, but that's the power of modern-day media. Folks, J.R. Gonzalez here, host Latino Business Report. If you like the show, give us a like, send us a message through the website, give us a comment, and also you can go latinobusinessreport.com. You can find our entire body of work. You can also find our entire body of work on YouTube. Okay, until next time, be safe, have a good day, and be looking for that Cucaracha strip.
That's right. Don't stop on the Cucaracha.
Don't stop. Keep reading, keep laughing. All right.